I'm going to try my best to show you how to do a vector tracing of a bitmap image using Microsoft PowerPoint. We'll see how we get on. First job I need to do is to find a bitmap image, a suitable bitmap image. I'm on Pixabay, a great website to get images from, and I'm going to randomly search for a picture of a boat. I'm looking for an image that will be fairly simple to trace, but will look quite good. So I'm going to go for this one here. So I'm going to click on that, click free download. Default size is fine. Click the download button, tick the box. It might ask me to select pictures of palm trees, which I think is right. Is that a palm tree? Can't tell. Verify. It'll soon tell me. And then I'm a robot. I'm not a robot. And then click the download button, and I should get my image. That'll go into my downloads folder, which is there, which is great as long as you remember where it is. No problems. So I've got a new PowerPoint presentation, completely blank one. I'm going to put the pictures on the master slide. So I need to choose View and Slide Master. It'll take you to the first layout. Delete the contents off the first layout. So just select them all and press the delete key. And then insert the picture that you've just downloaded from Pixabay on there. I'm going to take the opportunity to crop the picture down a bit to focus on the bit that I'm interested in and make that a little bit bigger, so that hopefully it'll make it a little bit easier to trace. Won't make much difference to it probably. Now it's easier to trace if you can make that if you can increase the transparency of the image. Now, there's no way of doing that in PowerPoint that I'm aware of, but you can insert. One trick is to insert a semi-transparent box over the top of the image itself. So I've just inserted a shape. Take the outline off. Go for the shape fill, more fill colors. Choose standard white. And then just up the transparency probably to about 30% and see what that looks like first of all. Okay, that's probably a little bit too light. So I'm just going to increase it to about 60. See what that looks like. Yeah, that's probably alright because I can still see the detail in the picture. Now, what I also want is another copy of this with the boat in the same place with the colours, the true colours visible. So I'm going to duplicate the layout on the left hand side over here just by right clicking on it and duplicating it. You'll get another copy of that, and I'm going to delete the box off it. So I've got two slide masters, one with a washed out copy of the image and one with a full color copy of the image on there, and then save and close the master view. Now it should there take you to the first slide now that's got that on it. Delete the content, which is gone, and I'm ready to start my trace. Use these buttons down here just to zoom in on the bit that you're going to trace. First of all, I want to go for the back of the boat, which is here. I'm just going to get that on my screen. And the best tool to trace it with is this one, which is the freeform tool. So choose a freeform tool from Insert Shapes, and then you're ready to go. Choose a point on the shape you want to trace. Now the trick for this is to make sure that the shapes are completely bounded. In other words, it's a complete shape. It's not got any gaps in it. And if you can help it, don't trace over the top of another shape you've got. So make it a bit like a jigsaw. So I'm going to look for areas of similar colour, and I'm not being too critical with this. I'm just clicking, moving my mouse and clicking and creating this shape. It's actually in dark blue, so it's difficult to see, but I'm just going around the edge of this colours where the colours are similar. Don't be careful you don't double click as well, because you'll end the shape, and the only way to get back from that is to start tracing again. So I'm going round. When I get near to where I started tracing it from, you'll notice that the shape fills in, and then if I just click my mouse button, it'll fill the shape. Leave that shape as it is, absolutely fine. We can tidy it up later. Zoom in a bit further if you need to. I'm going to just go for, I think, this little bit over here now. So I'm going to choose Insert, Shapes, choose that freeform tool again, and I'm going to choose, let me zoom in a little bit more, and then just move that around so I can get the bit I want. I'm going to choose this bit. So again, I'm not being too critical, but I'm just going to go around here, and I'm actually going to choose these bits, and you'll see what happens is it kind of snaps shut when I get close. So that's not too bad. And the last bit I'm going to trace is around this section here. So I'm not doing all of it by any means, but just enough so that you can see the general idea. So very carefully, but not too carefully, going around the edges of the boat, the different panels in the boat. So you're trying to make it like a jigsaw. So I'm just clicking like that, and when I get back to the start it should fill in. So there you go. So that's a little bit. Now you could continue and you could look for areas of similar colour to fill in. Again, don't be massively critical on this. It's fine to do that. Now, next job to do is to colour these in. All right, so what we can do now is if I just change the layout, so click on layout and change it to the second slide, I'll get the full colour version of the boat. Now what this does is it helps me to fill in the shapes, the colour shapes themselves. So I'm going to colour this shape in first. If I select it, go to format, take the fill off, first of all I can see through it and I can see the colour that I'm trying to trace it in with. Then choose shape fill again and choose the eyedropper tool and then pick the colour from the background. So I've done that one. This one, shape fill, no fill, shape fill, eyedropper, click the background, that fills it in. This one, shape fill, no fill, shape fill, eyedropper, click the box. Right, so that now fills in the shapes with pretty much the basic colour that you've got in the background. Okay, next thing to do is to get rid of the image altogether. So I choose layout again and go to blank. Now what you'll find is, of course, when you've traced the whole image, that'll probably look pretty good, to be honest. That won't look too bad. You can't really tell it's a boat at the moment, obviously, because I've not finished tracing it. But what I'm going to do now is just to show you how to tidy that up a little bit to make it look a little bit better. You've got two choices with the borders. You can either remove the borders completely, so take the outline off, and what that does is it makes it look a little bit more like a sort of an illustration. If you leave the borders on, I would probably be tempted to leave them black so it looks a little bit more like a drawn cartoon. I'm going to leave them black. No, I'm going to take them off, I think, because it's easy to show you the next bit if I take them off. So I'm going to take the outlines off and I'm going to choose one of the shapes and zoom in on it. Right click on it and choose edit points. What this does is it shows the points that I use to draw the shape with. If I click one of the points, I get two white handles on it. All you need to do, and all I do really, is just kind of, not randomly, but just tweak the handles slightly. They're independent, these handles. Tweak the handles slightly so that you kind of just curving the edges off. Of course, if there's no curved edge, if it's a straight edge, I'd probably leave it alone, but these I know from the picture of the boat before, these are kind of curvy edges. So I'm just going to go around this shape and I'm just going to just tidy up those. I can also do things like I can move it, move the shapes around. I can even click on and create new points if I wish to, if I missed a section on there. So I can really tidy this shape up like that. I'll leave that corner because I think that was fairly sharp, and back to here. Make that a little bit rounder and so on. I'm not going to do the two shapes, but you kind of get the idea. What I would also do at this stage is double check that you've not got any white spaces left. Now if you notice, I've got a little, that's me back to the beginning again, I've got a little white space there, so I've got a couple of choices with it. I can right click and edit points. What I'm going to do is just move that across so it covers up that shape. Now that one's actually in front of it, so if I edit the points on that one, sorry, that was edit text, if I edit the points on that one, I can just kind of curve that one out a bit, and hopefully that won't look too bad when I've finished. Now again, once you've done that and you've tidied all those shapes up, you should find, I mean, my boat's not brilliant because it's not finished, but you should find you get a pretty good representation of the bitmap image that you've done. Okay, well, you can give it a go and hopefully you could do a little bit of a better job than me.